1. Introduction. My name is Amy. I was 25 years old. I had a simple life. Every day I went to my job. I worked in an office. It was a normal job. I sat at a desk and used a computer. I did this 5 days a week. I lived in a small apartment. It was not big, but it was my home. It had 1 bedroom, a small kitchen, and a small living room. I lived there alone. My life was quiet. Sometimes it felt a little empty. I had friends and I saw my family sometimes, but I wanted something more. I wanted excitement in my life. Most of all, I wanted to find love. I wanted to share my life with someone special. I dreamed about meeting a kind person. I wanted to feel happy and not lonely anymore. My days were always the same. Wake up, go to work, go home, eat dinner, watch television, sleep, repeat. It was a routine, a very normal, very quiet routine. I often thought, is this all? I hoped for something new, something different to happen. I did not know it then, but my wish would come true. My life was about to change completely. It would not be quiet or normal anymore. One day, everything would turn upside down. One day, I would meet someone who would change my whole world. This is the story of how my simple life became very, very different. It is the story of finding love in a place I did not expect. It is the story of a big secret and a new future. It is my story. 2. A new friend. It was a wet and cold day. Rain fell from the gray sky. I wanted to get out of the bad weather. I went to a small cafe near my work. It was warm inside, a nice place to be. I saw a man there. He worked as a waiter in the cafe. He had on old clothes. They looked too big for him, but his eyes were very kind. He had a warm smile when he brought my hot coffee. He was polite and gentle. He told me his name was Winston. After that day, I started to go to the cafe every day. I told myself I liked the coffee, but I really wanted to see Winston. We talked a little more each time I visited. He told me about his life. He said he was having a hard time. He did not have a home. He lived in his old car. It was not a good car, very old. He did not have much money either. I felt sad for him when he told me these things. But the more we talked, the more I liked Winston. He was very smart. He was also very funny. He made me laugh. He never said bad things about his difficult life. Sometimes I saw other people in the cafe. They looked at Winston in a bad way because he did not have money. They were not nice to him. This made me feel angry inside. I always tried to be extra kind to him. One day, it was very cold outside. I had a warm scarf. I made it myself. I gave it to Winston when I saw him at the cafe. He looked surprised. His face showed he was very thankful. It made me feel warm and happy inside to help him a little. We talked more and more each day. We learned about each other. I felt a good feeling when I was with him. He was becoming more than just a waiter at a cafe. He was becoming my friend. 3. Our big secret. I started to feel a strong love for Winston. It happened quickly. I knew he was different from other men. He was kind, funny, and good. When I was with him, I felt happy and safe. My life felt brighter because he was in it. I did not think about his problems. I only thought about him. But my friends and family saw things differently. They were very worried about me. They told me many times, "Amy, he has nothing. He does not have a home or much money. How can he take care of you?" My mother was sad. She said, "He cannot give you a good life, my dear." They did not understand my feelings. They thought money was the most important thing. But I knew it was not. Winston had a good heart, and that was enough for me. I did not care about money or a big house. I cared about his love. One night, Winston and I were in his old car. It was our special place. We were looking at the stars. He took my hand. His hand felt rough from his work at the cafe. He looked at me. His voice was a little quiet. He said, "Amy, I do not have many things to give you, only this old car and my job at the cafe. But I love you very, very much. Will you marry me?" Happy tears came to my eyes. My heart felt so full of love. I did not need a beautiful ring. I did not need a long speech. His love was the most important thing. I said, "Yes, Winston. Oh, yes, I will marry you." We decided to get married soon. We did not tell many people. It was our secret. A few weeks later, we went to the city hall. It was a very small wedding. Only 2 of my friends came to watch us. Sarah, my best friend, was there, and one other friend. I found a simple white dress in a shop. Winston wore a clean suit that he borrowed from a friend at the cafe. We did not have a big party. We did not go on a trip after. It was simple, but it was perfect. Standing there with Winston, saying our promises, I felt like the happiest woman in the world. We promised to love each other always, no matter what happened. We promised to be together if we had money or not. I knew our love was strong. I felt like a princess in a story, even though my prince lived in an old car. For a happy life. After we got married, Winston and I lived in my small apartment. It was not big, but it was our home. We did not have a lot of money. We had to be careful with every penny, but we were very happy together. Every morning, Winston went to work at the cafe. He worked for many hours. I went to my office job. Our days were simple. We worked, and then we came home. In the evenings, we were together. This was the best part of the day. Winston often cooked dinner. He made simple food like pasta with sauce or eggs and toast. We sat at our tiny kitchen table. We did not have a big table, but it was enough for us. We talked for hours every evening. We talked about our day, about our dreams, about everything. He listened to me, and I listened to him. He always made me laugh. He made me feel loved and safe. He made me feel cherished. Life was not easy because we did not have much money. Sometimes things were difficult, but having Winston with me made everything better. He was my husband, my best friend. We did not need expensive things or a big house. We had each other, and that was everything. Our small apartment was cozy. It was full of our love and our simple life. Every day was a new day we spent together. We were building our life day by day. We were just two people who loved each other very much. Money did not matter. Our happiness came from being together. We shared everything. We shared our food, our home, our time, and our hearts. Winston was happy to be with me, and I was happy to be with him. We were content with our simple life. We thought this would be our life forever. We did not know that our quiet, happy life was about to change very soon. We did not know that the world was about to find us. But for now, in our small apartment, we were just Winston and Amy, married and in love, living a quiet, happy life. 5. A big surprise. One day, Winston came to my office. He wanted to bring me lunch. He had a sandwich and one red rose. He looked happy to surprise me. He stood near my desk. My boss, Mr. Harrison, walked past. Mr. Harrison stopped. He looked at Winston for a long time. His face became very white. He looked very, very shocked. Mr. Harrison had a magazine on his desk. He looked from Winston to the magazine. There was a picture of a man on the cover. The man looked like Winston. But the man in the picture wore an expensive suit. He looked very serious and important. My boss spoke very slowly. His voice was not strong. It cannot be, he said. He looked at the picture again. Then he looked back at Winston. Winston Blackwood, he asked. The lost Blackwood man, but everyone said you were dead for many years. Winston looked confused. He put his hand on his head. Blackwood, he asked. I do not know that name. My name is Winston. Just Winston? Mr. Harrison told us about Winston Blackwood. He was a very famous and very rich man. He had a lot of money and big companies. He was a billionaire. 5 years ago, he had a bad car accident. After the accident, he was gone. Nobody could find him. People thought he died in the fire. Winston listened. He looked sad. An accident, he said. I remember a crash, fire. It was bad, but I do not remember anything before that time. I woke up in a hospital far away. I had no name, no papers. The doctors said I forgot everything. Amnesia. My heart was beating fast. I felt weak. My Winston, the man I married, the man who lived in his car, was a missing billionaire. It was very hard to believe. I looked at him. It was my Winston. But everything was suddenly different. My world felt strange. It was a very big surprise. 6 new problems. The news about Winston being a rich man was everywhere. Many people now knew about him. His face was in the newspapers. Reporters came to our small apartment building every day. They took pictures. It was not private anymore. Our quiet life was finished. It felt strange to have so much attention. Then Winston's family came. We met his uncle. His name was Arthur Blackwood. He looked very important and wore expensive clothes. He came to see Winston. He hugged Winston tightly like a loving uncle. But I saw his eyes when he looked at me. They were not warm. They were cold, almost angry. I felt a cold feeling inside. I did not like Uncle Arthur from the first moment. He was the one who had been in charge of all Winston's money and businesses while Winston was not here. We had to move house very quickly. We left my small, cozy apartment that was our home. We moved to a very big house. It was Winston's family home, he was told, but he did not remember it at all. The house was like a palace with many rooms and expensive things, but it felt cold and empty inside. The rooms were huge and quiet. There were many people working in the house, like servants, wearing uniforms, but they were silent and watched us. Winston walked through the big rooms and looked lost. He did not feel at home there. He looked sad. Winston felt very sad and confused. He tried hard to remember his old life, but it was like a blank page in his mind. It was very hard for him. He had terrible bad dreams about the car accident, about fire and pain. He woke up screaming sometimes in the night. I tried my best to help him. I told him I was here and we were together, no matter what. Uncle Arthur was always near us. He seemed to follow us. He talked to Winston a lot, all the time. He told him long stories about his past life, about important business deals and important people he knew. It felt like Uncle Arthur wanted to force Winston to remember, or maybe tell him what to remember. It felt like he wanted to change Winston, to make him the man he was before the accident, the rich and powerful man. Uncle Arthur also talked to me sometimes when Winston was not close. He said kind words, but his smile did not reach his eyes. He said that this rich world was very different from my simple life. He said that maybe I was not the right person for Winston now, because I was just an office worker and did not understand Winston's important position. He tried to make me feel small and not important in this new world. He wanted me to leave Winston. He wanted to break our marriage. Life in the big house was not happy like our life in my small apartment. We had money now, more money than I could imagine, but we had many new problems. Winston was sad and lost, and I felt worried and scared. Uncle Arthur was always watching us, always talking, always trying to cause trouble between us. He was like a dark shadow over our new life. He did not like me and wanted me gone. It was a very difficult time for us. We missed our simple, happy life very much. The big house felt more like a cold, beautiful cage than a home. 7, a bad plan. Uncle Arthur did not like Amy and Winston together. He was very unhappy about their marriage. He wanted to separate them. He started to make problems for them in the big, old house. He often spoke to Winston alone. He said things to make Winston doubt Amy's love. "Amy married you when you had nothing," he said in a quiet voice. "Maybe she only wants the money now that you are rich. Think about it." He tried to make Winston believe Amy was not a good person. Then Uncle Arthur talked to Amy when Winston was not near. He smiled, but his eyes were cold. "Dear Amy," he said, "this world of rich people is very different from your old life. Winston needs someone from his own kind, someone who understands important business and big social events. You are a sweet, simple girl, but maybe this life is too much for you." He made Amy feel small and like she did not fit in the large, rich house. He wanted her to feel she did not belong there. He wanted her to leave Winston and the Blackwood family. One morning, a special envelope came to the house. It was for Amy. It looked very important and expensive. Amy felt a little strange as she opened it. Inside the envelope, there were several photographs. The pictures showed Winston, but he was not with Amy. He was with a different woman. This woman was very beautiful and looked very rich. She wore expensive clothes and jewelry. The pictures showed Winston and the woman together in nice places, like a fancy restaurant. They looked happy together. They were holding hands. In one picture, they were kissing under the night sky. It looked very romantic and very real. Amy looked at the photos again and again. Her hands started to shake. Her heart felt like it was breaking into many pieces inside her chest. She felt a terrible, sharp pain. Was this true? Did Winston have another woman? Did he lie to her about everything? She felt so hurt and so confused. She did not know what to think. The pictures looked very real. Could Winston, her kind, loving Winston, do this? The man she loved, who lived in his car, who married her in a simple ceremony because they had no money. It was very hard to believe, but the pictures were there. They showed him with this other woman. She felt a terrible doubt grow inside her. When Winston saw the photos, his face lost all its color. "Amy, no," he cried loudly. "This is not true. I do not know this woman. These pictures must be lies. Someone made them to hurt us." He came to Amy quickly and took her hands in his. His eyes looked very sad and full of pain. "Please, Amy," he said softly. "You must believe me. I love only you. You are my wife. You are my life." Amy wanted to believe him with all her heart. She saw the sadness in his eyes. She felt his hands holding hers. But the pictures were there in her other hand. They showed her husband with another woman kissing. It was a terrible time for Amy. She felt lost and did not know who or what to trust. The big house felt cold and full of secrets. Uncle Arthur watched them, and sometimes Amy saw a quick, happy look in his eyes when they were not looking at him. This was his plan, and it was working. Amy felt sad and alone, not knowing what was true or what to do next. Her heart was broken. 8. The truth wins. Amy looked at the pictures again and again. Her heart was heavy, but she made herself look closely. she saw a small, strange thing. On the woman's dress, there was a pin shaped like a golden animal. Amy thought hard. She had seen that pin. It was on a woman who worked for Uncle Arthur. Then she looked at Winston in the photos. He wore an old watch, the one from his time at the cafe. He never wore that watch now. These pictures felt wrong. Amy showed the details to Winston. "Look," she said softly. "Something is not right. I think these photos are not real. Maybe Uncle Arthur made them." Winston looked. His face changed. Doubt left him, and hope came into his eyes. "Yes, you are right, Amy. This must be his bad plan." They knew they could not fight Uncle Arthur alone. Winston remembered a good man, a lawyer who used to work for his family long ago. His name was Mr. Gable. Uncle Arthur had sent Mr. Gable away because he was too honest. Winston called Mr. Gable in secret. They asked him to help them find the truth about the pictures and Uncle Arthur. Mr. Gable worked quickly and quietly. He found the woman from the photos. She was an actress, and Uncle Arthur paid her a lot of money. She said the pictures were fake. They were put together to make it look like she and Winston were close. The photographer also told Mr. Gable that Uncle Arthur's helper paid him to make the false photos. But Mr. Gable found something even bigger. He looked at old reports about Winston's car accident years ago. He found proof that Uncle Arthur was the very first person at the crash. Arthur told the police that Winston was dead. He sent Winston, who was alive but had lost his memory, to a faraway hospital using a fake name. Arthur wanted Winston's money and power. He wanted Winston to die in that accident. Now, the shocking truth was clear. Uncle Arthur was not a good uncle. He was a criminal. Amy and Winston knew they had to tell everyone. They called a big family meeting. Mr. Gable showed all the proof. The pictures were false. Uncle Arthur planned to hurt Winston years ago. Uncle Arthur was very angry and scared. He shouted that they were lying, but the proof was strong. Everyone saw the truth about him. He was a bad man. He tried to break Winston and Amy apart. Winston felt pain and anger about his uncle's actions, but he looked at Amy. She stood strong beside him. Their love was real. Uncle Arthur lost everything. His family did not want him. The police took him away for his crimes. Winston's memory slowly came back a little, but he always told Amy, "My true life started with you." They were a team. They had much money, but they did not want only rich things. They used the money to start a place that helped people with no homes. They worked there often. They made the big house a real home, full of warmth and friends. Their love was strong and true. They were happy helping others. The truth won in the end.